Hello and welcome to Talk AB. My name is Arun and today we're going to be covering a massive week of football for Barcelona. So we got the job done against Rayo Vallecano, but not in the way we were thinking. We got the 3 points, we kept a clean sheet, and we head into the international break, sitting at the top of the Liga with 4 points clear of Real Madrid. So in this video, we're going to be covering the match, which Barça won 1-0 against Rayo Vallecano, the highlights and what it tells us about this team. We're going to be talking about Joan Garica, the man, the wall, the reason we have 3 points in the first place. And the problem with that, it might sound kind of weird, but we're going to be going into that in more details. And Pau Cubarsi, how can we not talk about this kid? He's the Yamal of our defense. And the Madrid derby and the title race, which Real Madrid won 3-2 against Atletico Madrid, and what it means for us. We'll also be looking ahead into the Atletico Madrid in the Champions League after the international break. So the match recap. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This was not the Barcelona I expected. It was not a vintage performance, especially after the 5-2 win against Sevilla and the 7-2 against Newcastle. 12 goals in the last 2 games. A lot of us were expecting us to just roll over Rayo. Even I did. I thought we would completely demolish them, but that did not happen. Not even close. Rayo had a plan. They sat compact, they frustrated us, and they were looking to exploit the high line whenever they got the chance. They almost caught us inside the first minute. Carlos Martin found himself unmarked 6 yards out. And Joan Garica, which I swear to God, we always mention him. And he's always the reason that we come out of these performances, because he saves us every single time. He had to come flying off his line to make the block. First minute at Camp Nou, that's not ideal. But we settled, we got into it, and in the 24th minute, we got the breakthrough. Cancelo delivered a pinpoint corner to the far post, and Araujo, who was playing right back because Koundé is injured, not just Koundé, but also Eric Garcia, he just rose, he jumped so high, out jumped his marker and planted the header off into the inside post. It was a beautiful set-piece goal. And that's something Pedri actually spoke about after the game, how we've improved massively on the set pieces this season. And it showed right there. And now Rafinha could have killed the game right before halftime. He really could have. He dragged one wide on the counter. He forced Batala into a save from range. And then he hit the crossbar. 3 chances. On a lucky day, another day, we would be 3-0 up. But this is a completely different conversation, right? We weren't, and that's where things got interesting. The second half, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The second half was kind of rough. Not kind of rough, it was really rough. We looked physically drained. You could see it. The players stretching, cramping, clearly feeling the Newcastle game in their legs. And yes, that's understandable. It was a Champions League knockout game just 4 days ago. But this is a big but. Real played Conference League on Thursday. They had less rest than us. And yet, by the end of the 90 minute, it was Rayo who were running, sprinting, pressing, chasing everything down. And it was us hanging on. So we can't really use fatigue as an excuse here, guys. We weren't just good enough with the ball in the second half. Too many passes going straight to the opposition. Too many bad decisions in the final third. It wasn't there. It was not the best. Not the best, no. It was really bad. A lot of bad decisions in the final third. It was not acceptable. Flick made changes. Ferran Torres on for Lewandowski. Dani Olmo in. Rashford came on for Yamal at the 81st minute. But honestly, it was Rayo's subs that made the bigger impact. Alvaro Garcia, Espino, De Furtos, Camelo, those guys came on and completely changed the game. They pushed 4 players forward and made it so difficult for us to hold on. And just look at the stats. We had 61% possession, 15% shots to their 8, but shots on target, 4 each. Corners, they had 9, we had 6. And the big one, expected goals. Rayo's XG was 1.83. Ours was 1.36 in our own stadium with our own fans. That should tell you everything about how the second half went. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's 3 points. These are the games that define the title. This is one of the title winning games, and to get a result like this, I think at the end of the day, it's fine. Not every game is going to be a 7-2 demolition. And credit where it's due, Rayo's coach Inigo Perez, even Flick praised him after the game, called him fantastic, and said he has a very good team. They deserve something from this game. They just ran into Joan Garica, and that brings me to the main man, the wall, and the problem. Unbelievable. He was man of the match, no debate. 4 saves, 1.4 for XG saved, 7 recoveries, 100% rate on runouts, and at least 2 of those saves were genuinely world class. The kind of saves where any elite striker puts those away 9 out of 10 times, right? Flick said after the game, this is why we signed Joan Garica, clean sheet today. That is all his work. And then later, Joan Garica was incredible today. This is why he also got called up to the national team. We're happy for him, and he deserves it. So Flick said that after the game. And honestly, I was surprised that Joan Garica was not called up to the Spain team even sooner. But now that's all done. He's going to be in the national teams, and I'm going to be so excited to see him playing for that Spain team and maybe potentially bringing the World Cup to Spain. Pedri also called him incredible, and he said he considers him one of his best friends. Araujo also praised him. The Barcelona admin posted a Superman gif on Joan's post-match photo. Everyone loves this guy, and rightly so. He deserves everything he's getting right now. But however, Joan himself kept it humble, which is really good. He said it was important to get these 3 points, even if it wasn't our best game. We needed the win, and now what the others do don't depend on us. And here's the stat that really stands out. Since moving back to Camp Nou, Barcelona have won 14 out of 14 games. Joan Garica has been a massive part of that. Barcelona paid Espanyol 25 million euros for him last summer, and honestly, that's looking like a bargain. We scammed them. They should be like charging some sort of like legal actions towards us. That's not all right. I think we send like another 10 million to them. And also he also got called up, and so let's see how he does for the international break, the World Cup friendlies. Very well deserved. So that's the good part. Okay, and why is this a problem? Why is it weird? Because I'm watching Flick after the game, sitting there with a smile on his face, talking about why we signed Joan Garica. And it seems like he doesn't want to change anything about the way we defend. And I'm thinking, are we really okay with this? Like, really? Because what we're doing right now is basically turning up every game and requiring Joan Garica to be at least excellent, almost perfect. Not even a single mistake. World class. Just because of how many chances we give away. The high line creates so many opportunities for the oppositions. Those oppositions who know how to take advantage of this. We know this. It's been the trade-off all season. We accept. I know that we're going to concede chances because the system creates so much going forward. We will try to score more than we can concede. But here's my question. Can you keep doing that in the Champions League against elite strikers? Because that chance in the second half where Rayo Vallecano striker hit it right at Joan, a Harry Kane, a Dembele, a Haaland, they're scoring those chances. They're gonna dink it over him. They're not gonna give him any chances to save it. And the thing is, right now, winning covers everything. Right now, we're winning. Flick is smiling. The system works. Nobody's asking too many questions. But if it stops working in the Champions League quarterfinal because we're giving Atletico 3 or 4 clear chances, Griezmann or Julian Alvarez are not going to forgive what those Rayo Vallecano's forwards did. Then what's going to happen? Then everyone's going to be asking why we did not address this sooner. So it's a weird one, right? Joan Garica is brilliant. That's amazing for us. But the fact that we need him, we rely on him to be brilliant every single game. That's the real concern. That's what keeps me up at night. Thinking about this at 1 a.m. So this is something to keep an eye on, right? So right now, let's shift gears and talk about someone who genuinely makes me excited about the future of this club. Because what Cubarsi is doing at 19 years old is not normal. It's just not. A couple weeks ago, ahead of the Newcastle tie, Hansi Flick held a press conference and said something that made headlines everywhere. He said, "For me, Cubarsi is on the same level as Lamine Yamal, but in defense." So just thinking about that for a second, we know that how good Lamine Yamal is. He is generational. Everybody talks about him winning the European Championship with Spain, and Flick, who works with both of them every single day, is saying Cubarsi is his equivalent at the center back position. And that is crazy because we know how good he is, but Flick saying this is so exciting for the future of this club, right? He went on to say how Cubarsi defends. He took a throw-in like a corner kick. He is 19 years old and can play at the highest level he can imagine. However, he still needs to progress. And when he gains more experience, he'll be a real force to be reckoned with. And you know what? The numbers back it up. Let me go through some of these data because they are genuinely insane. So he has already completed 2 full seasons as an undisputed starter at Barcelona, over 121 career appearances for the first team at 19 years old. Crazy. He's got an overall 91% overall passing accuracy this season with 97.8 on short passes. Those are elite ball playing center back numbers. Defensively, 78 tackles, 57 interceptions, 23 blocks. His aerial dual win rate is 77%. So every time he goes up in the air, he's winning that ball 77% of the time. And remember, people used to question his aerial ability because he's only 184 centimeter. I think that's about, not sure, but he completely shut down that argument down. 129 headed clearance, and he's 13th in all of La Liga. His current market value is at 80 million euros, and it's still rising. Some estimate it will be hitting 140 million by the end of 2026, and let's see how this changes after the World Cup. He has a 5 million euro release clause on him, and so we're not gonna let this kid go anywhere else. Apart from the stats, the records, it's crazy. The youngest defender to debut in Champions League knockout match at 17 years old, broke David Alaba's record, and it was against Napoli, which he was named man of the match. Crazy. And just last year, July 2025, ESPN ranked him as the sixth best center back in the world when he was 18. And now 6 months later, he's even better. So here's what really gets me. There's this photo that floats around social media of Cubarsi, Lamine Yamal, and Marc Bernal together in the prom as kids, right? Playing youth football together. And today, all three of them are starters for Barcelona's first team in Europeans competition. They're 19, 18, and 18. And by age, they should technically still be playing in the youth league. That photo should be the compass for this entire sporting project, right? Cubarsi, Bernal, Pedri, Joan Garica, Gavi, the backbone of Barca for the next 15 years already exists. La Masia isn't just alive, it's producing the foundation of everything we're building. And I know I talked a lot about Cubarsi. He comes from a family of carpenters in a small town in Girona. His family runs a carpentry business for over a century, and he speaks Catalan. He joined La Masia at 12 years old. He won the Olympic gold medal with Spain before he turned 18. He's humble, he's grounded, and he's absolute elite. As one writer puts it, in modern football, a dangerous trend is increasingly being observed, normalizing what is, in essence, not normal. And that is exactly what is happening with Pau Cubarsi. The kid is moving mad, and he's only going to get better from here. Alright, so after the game finished, we temporarily went 7 points clear at the top. That felt good for about 3 hours. Then the Madrid derby happened, and look, it was a game. Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2 at the Bernabeu. Lookman opened the scoring for Atletico in the 33rd minute. Beautiful counterattack. Juliano Simeone with a cheeky back heel, and Ruggeri overlapping, and Lookman finishing past Lunin. Atletico went into halftime 1-0 up, and honestly looking like the better side. But the second half was all Real Madrid. Vinicius equalized from the penalty spot in the 52nd minute after Hanko tripped Brahim Diaz. 3 minutes later, Valverde pounced on a Jimenez error and set it home. 2-1 Real. Atletico weren't done though. Manila hit, holy crap, an absolute thunderbolt from about 25 yards. One of those strikes where all you do is just wow, your face is just open, right? He did that last week also. Crazy. And then Vinicius produced a moment of magic in the 72nd minute, picked up the ball up, drove forward and curled it onto the far corner. Unstoppable. So it was 3-2, and that was his second brace in 2 consecutive games. Valverde, who had a brilliant scored a goal, was having the game of his life, but then got a straight red card in the 77th minute for a crazy challenge. Harsh, maybe, but it's Real Madrid, man. They get away with everything. So, and honestly, it was a pretty bad tackle. So Real Madrid had to hold on with just 10 men for the last 15 minutes. Julian Alvarez hit the post. It could have gone either way, but Real Madrid held firm. So that 7-point gap came down to 4. Barcelona now sits on 73 points and Real Madrid on 69. Nice. And so we have 9 games left in the Liga. It's still a close 2-horse race. We can still lose. So we got to be very careful. Real have won 5 games in a row now, and they're building that momentum. So, and this is why it takes me back to that 1-0 game against Rayo, because every single point matters right now. We cannot afford to drop any. Looking ahead, we are going to the international break. The players get a bit of a breather from club football, although most of them are going straight off to play for their countries. So it's not exactly a holiday. Joan Garcia, like I said, his Spain call up, his first one, which is brilliant. Very happy for him. Cubarsi, Yamal, Pedri, Fermin, all involved. And I wish Bernal could also get called up, but he still has time. He still got to prove himself, right? There's still time for the call up. So let's see what happens with him. But when we come back, though, it's gonna be a tough month for us. April 4th is the Atletico Madrid away in the Liga, first game to back. Straight away, one of the toughest fixtures in Spanish football. Then within days, it's the Champions League quarterfinal against Atletico once again, the first leg. Then we've got Espanyol, a derby sandwiched right in there, and we know how Espanyol play since they are our rivals. And then the Champions League second leg, which is away at Atletico. The second leg really frustrates me because of the Champions League format. Sorry. Even though Atletico finished below us in the league phase, they get the second leg at home because they inherited Tottenham's seating position after beating them, and that's kind of weird. I don't want that. I want to face the second leg at home. So despite us finishing higher, we don't get the advantage of that Camp Nou atmosphere for this deciding leg, and that is not something we really want, because if it's a tie in the first half, then there's no extra time, right? But in the second leg, there is. So if we get a tie, we are gonna have to play really, really well, especially with the depth we have. We don't have a lot of substitutes, right? So that's something we're gonna have to think about. Flick's gonna have to do something about that. So yeah. And also I want to talk about Atletico's pitch, because that place is haram. The stadium, I don't know what they do. They have like some sort of rocks inside the grass or something, because not just our players, but so many players make mistakes there. Atletico are a completely different animal to Newcastle. Simeone's side are those players, we all know how they play. They are tactically disciplined, let's say. They showed us in the derby that they can go toe to toe with Real Madrid and push them to the absolute limit. This is going to be a war. It's going to be so tough. But let's see how we do, right? I guess the way we played against Rayo Vallecano and the expectation we had, right? Maybe it'll be the opposite. Maybe we're gonna think that it's gonna be a tough match, but in reality, it's going to be easy. So you guys let me know what you thought of the Rayo game. Are you guys worried about the defensive issues, or is it fine as long as we keep getting results? What's your take on Cubarsi? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video once again. This is my first video, and I want to make more of this because for the passion I have for this Barcelona football team, right? So subscribe, make sure to like and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Visca el Barça. I'll see you guys again. Peace.